Hello everyone, Ventus here. Today, I'm going to be doing something that's not a Twitch VOD, for once. I'm going to be reviewing a game I've been playing to the point that it's kind of been consuming my entire life. It originally never made it to America, but after some fan translations and some updates, it's slowly becoming something a bit more enjoyable. It's somewhat considered an ancient relic since it ran on the PS2 and used dial-up to run, but it's still a pretty interesting game nonetheless. The game I'm talking about is called .hack Fragment. Fragment is an MMO based on the .hack franchise, which is about an MMO that causes people to fall into comas. Even though I can assure you that this game won't cause you to fall into a coma, I can't assure that you'll actually like it. Since the company that made it, called CyberConnect, only had it for around a year, and that's only after .hack fans kept bugging them to keep an MMO. So, as a result of that, there's nothing really to do except dungeon crawl, but as a guy that likes his dungeon crawling, that's kinda why I like it so much. Since it's a PS2 game, you'll need the PS2, the game disc, and a network adapter for it to actually work. They're all pretty cheap to obtain, with the game itself only going up to at least $35 on Amazon. If you still find it a bit too expensive and you don't want to modify your PS2 to actually get it to work, there's still some other methods you can use. Once your preferred method is chosen, set up the network adapter and you're good to go. Before you can actually start playing, however, you choose between one of two different modes. Offline mode gives you a pretty basic and boring plot that's not fully translating into English yet. So my advice to you is to go until you get data drained, since that's the only important thing you'll get in offline mode. Online mode, however, is where the real fun begins, because that's where you go on to the many different servers that other players such as yourself has made. And each server runs a bit like a lobby from Monster Hunter or God Eater. So each server can only hold around 3 members and that's about it. However, you still need to make a character before you can do all this. And thankfully, character creation is easy. All you gotta do is pick a class, pick a body type, and distribute 99 points into your 8 different stats. There's a total of 6 different classes, all of which are defined by their weapons and the kinds of armor they can wear. In no particular order, they are Twin Blade, who uses 2 daggers for some very quick and very accurate attacks along with some flashy acrobatics. Heavy Axe, that can take hits from 5 truck-guns at the same time, but can't hit any of them to save his life. Long Arm, who uses a pointy stick to poke things with. Blade Master, aka his generic goons. Heavy Blades, who uses a sword twice their size and wonders why they can't hit a single thing. And finally Wave Master, which are self-proclaimed demigods. Now this should come as no surprise to you, but different classes can wear different armors. However, this game does armor a bit differently than most RPGs. You know how in every RPG, you learn skills whenever you reach a certain level? That doesn't happen in this game. You instead gain skills by equipping different types of armor. Meaning, I just turned my Blade Master into a bootleg paladin from Final Fantasy, all because I gave her a different pair of gloves. But I do have a word of caution. Any skill name colored red will be lost when you equip the new gear, so be careful. Once you're done, log into the lobby and choose one of the many different servers you can play on. Each server is made by another player, such as yourself, and you can make your own. That is, of course, if you're okay with the dangers of port forwarding. Don't be too afraid of the level of the server. That's how popular it is. And the more popular the server, the more the server owner can do with it. They can add or remove monsters, add or remove dungeon floors, and before you ask, no, I don't have one because of the risk of port forwarding. Although sometimes I really do want to, since map creation in this game is pretty fun. Instead of a big, expansive, open world, you get a lobby like Root Town to buy supplies, and a warp gate to take you to the many different fields that can be made. Each field is made by a set of 3 different keywords that affect how the map is, thus making it easier or more difficult for you, depending on how masochistic you're feeling at the moment. And the server owner can change what the keywords affect at any given moment. So it's always a good idea to keep an eye on any changes that might have been made. Once you're finally in the field of your choosing, you'll start to see these yellow magic circles. These can either summon a monster or a treasure chest depending on whichever the server owner put in there. 9 times out of 10 though, you're going to see a monster. And since you don't know what's in there, you might want to stay prepared and chug down some Knight's Blood, as it'll stop you from dying easily and making you lose a level. Thankfully, this penalty is only in online mode, so feel free to die to your heart's content in offline mode. Another strange thing you'll find in the field is a spring. This spring can upgrade any weapons or armor you have in your inventory, depending on the weather. And speaking of the inventory, now might be a good time to say your inventory space is very limited. You can only hold 40 different items, but thankfully, you can hold 99 of each different type. So should you be carrying more than 40 different things, you'll have to either go to the storage unit or sell some stuff. And since selling things is the only way to make money in this game, you're going to be doing it a lot. And thankfully, you don't need to go to specific stores to sell specific items. You can go to any store in your Root Town server and sell all you don't need. Or, you can sell things off at the guild store. Before you can sell anything at the guild store though, you need to make a guild. Which is sadly more tedious than other MMOs, because you need to find a guild emblem. And these things are more rare than a rainbow card, since I've only found one rainbow card the entire 6 months I've been playing this game. But just because you're not in a guild, doesn't mean you can't buy stuff from the other guilds. I recommend you keep an eye on the guild shops since you can find a pretty high level weapon for pretty cheap sometimes. Final thoughts? Despite this game being a quickly put together MMO based on an old franchise, it's still a very fun game and I often found it very soothing to play sometimes. And even though barely anyone plays it nowadays, it's still very fun. I know I might have left some things out, but I did that on purpose because I want you to try this game and find them out on your own. And even though setting it up the first time is a bit annoying, I still highly recommend you give it a shot. So, I hope you liked my first video game review, as I hope to do more of them in the future. So stay tuned, and stay safe until the next video.